Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're joining us from. Again, welcome to a brand new season of the Hard Zone. On the Hard Zone, we try to keep our conversation free from any bias, and just by way of disclaimer, all of the opinions and positions that will be offered on this network and this podcast and that is not the official position of the network, but that of the individual panelists that will be offering them.
Having 4 people on the back of a taxi driver, you want to compare it with 6 people on the back of a motorcycle? Come on, bro, Sharif.
Donald Trump was a former president. His words are very powerful. You can't just accuse an entire community like that. It's wrong.
Listen, Walker, I was one of those people that he actually told me face to face in his home that I would declare my asset. I would make sure my officials declare their asset. In today's date, something as simple as that has not been done.
We are working. We are not going to allow distractor to have the opportunity for 6 years and they never did anything besides stealing the Liberian people money.
We have to be honest here. This old man is one of the incompetent old men that I have ever seen.
We need to have someone who has the educational background as well as the field experience to be able to provide oversight.
All of what Kamala is promising now, the last 4 years, why haven't they done anything? She and Joe Biden.
Look, church leaders, if Liberia will be better, you must play your role.
It is too early to criticize Bwaka because it is the formation stage.
Again, I'm your host. My name is Derek Yale, and let's get started. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're joining us from. Welcome to the Liberia Radio and Television Network. And let me take this time to say, if this is your first time joining us, the Liberia Radio and Television Network is a local media institution here in Northeast Philadelphia, and we have our office open in Liberia for business as well. Make sure you're following us on Facebook at the Liberia Radio and Television Network, or LRTN Live for short, and also on Instagram, LRTN.231. That's the handle. And we have our website where we publish public sources we publish article or developments from different sources. So check us out at LRTN.net. And you will find development ranging from Liberia and also the diaspora. LRTN tonight is proud to present another episode of The Hard Zone. That is episode 6 of season 7. And before I go any further, I must apologize for us missing the last 2 episodes due to some issues beyond our control. But we are here again with episode 6. This is a brand new episode, and we have waited this long for it. There's a lot of development going on in Liberia and the rest of the world. And we have our panelists in the back willing to give you all they have on those developments. And if this is your first time joining us, the Hard Zone is an opinion-based talk show where we feature a team of panelists from different political institutions, different political persuasion. And here on the Hard Zone, there's no gimmick, no fluff, just real talk. My name is Derek Yale, of course, and I will be playing host tonight. And just to give you a heads up on what to expect tonight on the Hard Zone, usually we'll bring you our current event, but as you know, the biggest thing happening globally right now that's happened in the past week is the inauguration of the 47th President of the United States in President Donald Trump, the 47th and 45th President of the United States. And also in Liberia, we have a lot of development, including the upcoming State of the Nation address by President Bwaka. And he already has a theme for that. So we're looking forward to that. The theme for the State of the Nation address, give me a second as I find it, is Rescue to Development, Implementing the Arrest Agenda. So we'll have our panelists tell you on the what do you think how President Barack performing his first 365 days as president, and also we'll say what are they looking forward to for the president to say during his State of the Nation address. Now, President Barack during his campaign period released his arrest agenda in that he talked about his plan to enhance education in Liberia. So looking into that, we will focus specifically tonight on the University of Liberia, the current condition. I know just recently he installed the 16th president of the University of Liberia. But we will look at, we'll have a video we'll play for you tonight on the current condition of the facility before we get into talking about how he can improve education. Those are some of the things we have to discuss tonight, very high on our agenda. But before we get into any of those things, let me first introduce to you our panelists. Before I get into that again, let me ask all of you watching us to please do us a favor, follow us on Facebook. Make sure
I'll keep it loud open.
Thank you. Make sure you're following us and make sure you're sharing this program on your individual social media pages. As you see on your screen, we have our panelists lined up for tonight. More will be joining us later, I'm sure. So I'd like to start with Mr. Ayiti William. Mr. Ayiti William, welcome to episode 6 of season 7.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm a little late, I would say, but Derek, thank you very much for having me. It's a great privilege and it's an opportunity to be here to share time and space with all of these strong men. We have Stephen Freeman. I'm not going to introduce everybody, but thank you very much for, having me here tonight.
Thank you very much, Mr. Williams. I'd like to move to you next, Mr. Freeman. Councilor Freeman, sorry. Welcome to episode 6 of season 7.
Yeah, Derek. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for having me again. I look forward to having this important discussion on various topics. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Councilor Freeman. Mr. Dennis, welcome to the show, episode 6, season 7.
Thank you, Mr. Yale. Again, I'm Don Kapaya Dennis, and I'm happy to be back. I'm sorry I've been away for a while, but it's an opportunity to share the platform with individuals with more to offer. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's move on to you, Mr. Y. James A. Y. Senior, welcome to the show.
Well, good evening, gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be back here, and I look forward to a productive discussion.
Thank you very much. Mr. Agnew Brown, welcome to episode 6 of season 7.
Yes, Derek, thank you for having me. I look forward to having a good conversation.
Mr. Jai Winkin Weir, thank you very much, Mr. Brown. Mr. Jai Winkin Weir, welcome.
Okay, guys, thank you for coming to my show. I look forward to discussing the issue around the world in Liberia. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jai Winkin Weir. Thank you for setting us up with issues going on around the world. But before I get into our topic today, again, let me encourage all of you watching us to please make sure you're sharing this program on your individual social media pages. And also make sure you're following us, the Liberia Radio and Television Network. This podcast is also being streamed live on YouTube as well. So if you're not really following us on YouTube, make sure you're following us there as well. Guys, the biggest news globally is the inauguration of the 47th and 45th President Donald J. Trump. There has been a lot of reactions coming out of that inauguration. Some saying Americans are scared given the executive order President Trump is passing, and there has been a lot of positive and negative feedback. I would like to bring that discussion to you. Let's talk about it briefly, because when we can discuss like real politics, we're all making that comparison between Liberia and America. We're here, we follow Liberia, America politics, even when we were in Liberia. So let me bring it to you. Give us your take. If you watch the inauguration, tell us what you observed. Do you think some of those reactions are warranted? If not, tell us. I'd like to start with you, Mr. Jai Winkin Weir. Give us a take on the inauguration. You're on mute.
Okay. I'm gonna start by saying I never voted for President Trump. and I recognize him though as the president of the United States. I personally don't hate President Trump as a person, but I just hate his demeanor and his policies. Having said that, one of the reasons why I don't like him is, for example, the executive order that was blocked today by the judge by violating the Constitution, specifically the amendment of Article 14, taking away the right of citizenship from those that were born here. So it's one of the reasons why. And I personally don't believe that he really understands certain things about the leadership of because he's trying to like act like other people like in China, like in Russia, that it doesn't represent America. But having said that, we have him as the president, and as was expected, there are a lot of lawsuits already being filed against his actions. They are always, as in the incident of the first time, there were a lot of cases, there were a lot of riots in the street, and I encouraging Liberia. I mean, all people around the world, they should expect the same thing. There will be no change. There will be chaos all the time, everywhere.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jah. We have, before I come on to introduce Mr. Boda, let me say this to you. Let me say this to you, panelists. We have a lot of panelists tonight, so I will be watching the time. I will allot you a minute and 30 seconds whenever I come to you, and I will interrupt you if I feel like you're going off topic, just to keep track of the time and to give everybody enough time to state their position. Mr. Boda, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Terry. Good evening to the panelists. I'm glad to be back to have a conversation.
Your audio is
it's too low.
It's too low, but Mr. Boda, can you adjust it?
Yeah, I'm trying to do that. Is it better now?
Well, we can hear you. Can you guys hear Mr. Boda?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Welcome to the show.
Better.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
Thank you. I'll come back to you, Mr. Boda, but let's hear from Mr. Dan Dennis. Give us your take on President Trump inauguration. You're on mute.
Thank you very much. In the past, during the electoral process, I shared with people that Trump was speaking the language that the majority of the Americans wanted to hear. And he spoke it very well, and they got it, and they elected him. But what I see happening is that most of the executive order that was signed will be challenged by lawsuit. I think the previous speakers alluded to that. So that's just the beginning. It will come true, but it will take time. It's a process. So because he signed doesn't mean that it will happen immediately. I am not a lawyer, but I have a background in immigration law here from Villanova University. But there are a lot of things that will follow too with that executive order. So I'll pause for that.
Thank you very much. Just again to ask this reminder, I just don't want for us to focus on one aspect of his inauguration. So you have a wide range of topics to talk on. So give us a reaction on the inauguration. I'd like to come to you, Councilor Freeman.
I mean, I didn't watch the inauguration, so I don't really have a lot of feedback on it. But I mean, bottom line is that the American people have spoken, and we have to deal with Donald Trump for another 4 years. He is in fact the president, and we look forward to hopefully a smooth administration.
Thank you. I have to stay with you, Mr. Councilor Freeman, because I feel like you're kind of choosing your words very carefully. Are you choosing to not comment on this topic? Because I know you've seen some of the executive order. Are you choosing to not comment on this for specific reasons?
Look, just like the last speaker alluded to, the executive order, barring any challenge, is it becomes the law. But we do know that with regards to some of them, for instance, you see that there are 22 states now, perhaps more, that have already filed challenges against President Trump executive order regarding, the birth of individuals who don't have any parents who are either a U.S. resident or a U.S. citizen, barring them from being American citizens in violation of the 14th Amendment. 22 states now have filed. We know that a district judge in Seattle, have put in place a temporary restraining order for about 14 days, prohibiting the president from actually enforcing that thing. What I think is going to eventually happen, look, Donald Trump he's not a foolish person. He knows that his executive order is going to be challenged. And that's exactly what he wants. Most people don't see it that way, but it's exactly what he wants. And the reason I say that is because the only other way to really get rid of what he's trying to accomplish is through some kind of constitutional amendment that require, legislatures, or require maybe states and things of that nature. And that's the longer path. The shorter path is the way in which he's going about it. We have a highly conservative court, right? We know that this Supreme Court a few months ago made a ruling where it says that just because you're married to a U.S. citizen does not give you a fundamental right to enter into the U.S. We also know that this very Supreme Court overturned 50 years of precedent in Roe versus Wade, right? Taking away women's rights. So I'm very skeptical that this court could go either way, right? In terms of this court could potentially uphold Donald Trump's executive order, or it can overturn it. Yet to be seen, but that's exactly what Mr. President Trump wants, because he knows that this court is a highly conservative court. It's very likely they could rule his way.
Thank you very much, Councilor Freeman. Let's hear from you now, Mr. Brown.
The inauguration, I feel like it was President Trump. It showed like the domestic Christianity. We Americans, America nowadays, there's not. There was a big division into the Christianity in America. In his inauguration, his speech, it really brings some highlights. And one of the things I really applaud him for, most of what he says, and you don't see that frequently in today's politics. Most of the politicians coming back and honoring what they said or what they preach about during their campaign. And we're seeing today that he, whether good or bad, but he's living up to that, up to his words. Then I'm sure that some of what he's doing is going to get challenged. But as for right now, he's living up to his words, and I applaud him for that. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll come back to you on him living up to his words. But let's first hear from Mr. Y. Talk to us about this inauguration.
So, good evening, gentlemen. First of all, just like Councilor Stephen Freeman said, I really didn't watch the inauguration. So, I really don't have too much to say about the inauguration. But if you wanted me to comment on other decisions of his administration, I could.
Please do. You still have a minute and 30 seconds.
So again, Councilor Stephen Freeman was on point.
How you doing?
The thing that I want to...
Yeah, I'm on a show.
Okay, thank you. The point that I want to make here is that we as minority do not, especially the African Americans, do not understand the significance of the sacrifices of our ancestors in this country.
Exactly right.
We do not respect our right to vote. And we use the opportunity to make change on important issues because we hold whoever that we're supposed to put in power hostage for certain things that are not done in our favor instead of electing the person and pursuing those opportunities. So for one, we do not vote. We have the young black folks all around just thinking that their vote doesn't count. And that is because of education. They do not know the significance of the sacrifices made. And is coming back to haunt them at this point. This is a great opportunity for MAGA to implement the agenda and take us back into the slavery days. And that is what they're trying to do. Now, to my final point, all of the executive orders and everything are going to be challenged. Going forward, what needs to be done now is the Democrats need to have a strategy to take back the House of Representatives at least, so that we can prevent the kind of mega agenda that is scheduled to go into effect. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Y. Let's hear from you now, Mr. Ayiti William. You're on mute.
I have to unmute myself. Did you unmute me already?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, so you can hear me, yeah. So all of the legal minds, they've spoken, and there's not much that I have to say because in actuality, or to be realistic, I too did not, because of work schedule, I did not have the opportunity to watch the inauguration ceremony. However, I had an opportunity of watching CNN, so I got a gist of what was going on. But I don't want to sound repetitive. Donald Trump as an individual, I do not have anything against, but there are some of his policies I certainly do have some issues with. And so to just narrow it to, this country was built by immigrants, and I do believe that immigrants should have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And so I strongly believe that some of those executive orders that was signed to be revisited. But just like those with legal mindset, hopefully they are challenged, and then we see what the end result will be. And so yes. But one thing I know about Trump, one thing I want to say, he's someone who is honest, he's sincere. Whatever he says, he stands by. So I respect him for that.
Thank you so much, Mr. Williams. Let me recognize the presence of Mr. Prince Sharif, who will be joining us without his video feed. Mr. Sharif, welcome to the show.
Thank you so very kindly, my brother, for giving us the opportunity to be on this unique platform. And let me just use this time to also say hello to our many listeners that are joining us from around the world. My people, your hello. And to the distinguished panelists and esteemed panelists, well-prepared panelists, I want to say, my people, your hello. It's always a privilege when we are here to share our own thoughts relative to what is happening in Liberia and the rest of the world with professional people. So we see it as a privilege. We are here to give our thoughts. We are here to learn. And we are here to discuss for the forward march of Mama Liberia. Thank you so very kindly. Is it going to be my opening statement relative to what you are discussing about the inaugural program?
Just the opening statement for now. How to take Mr. Boda if I come back to you.
Oh, okay, sir. Thank you. So thank you.
All right, yeah, no problem. Let's hear from Mr. Boda.
Thank you, Barry. I think the inauguration is not anything new. Mr. Trump already giving you.
Mr. Boda, you have to move closer to the microphone.
Oh, I'm saying that Mr. Trump is nothing strange that we're hearing today about his behavior or attitude or what he intends to do. But it's just that he's going to have some ups and downs with the legal proceeding of some of these executive orders. And, people, one thing I want to talk about is that people are not paying attention. There are a lot going on in the back end, and people are just focused on immigration. And that's just going to be the front of some of the things that the Republicans are going to be doing. They're going to be passing a lot of legislation laws that will be under the same, and people will be focused. The liberal media will going to be talking about this immigration the whole week, the whole day. Private right. These are all constitutional matters that has to go to court. So we need to be very mindful and pay attention to some of the things that is happening. Because a lot of things will be going on in the back end. If you realize in the past week since inauguration, CNN had got nothing else to talk about right now but this executive order about birthright and so forth. Hey, kind of thing about it, I mean, really? Birthright? I mean, how many of us here having a birthright, born baby here? But let's be focused on the real thing that's happening. The plan to put in a lot of other things in the system that will affect in the long term to come is what I need to pay attention.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bode. I have one question and I will designate a panelist or two to answer it. But let's hear first from Mr. Sheriff.
All right, thank you. Thank you so very kindly. You know, we've been closely following what has been happening here in our own home, because here is our home, the United States of America, and feminine of those things about, you know, all of the decree and whatever we'll call it that have been signed by the now president, President Trump. What I want to say is that the United States of America is the United States because of its diversity. That is a very rich immigrant population that work honestly to ensure that this nation is built. This country is what it is, and we call it the Great United States of America because it is tolerant of everybody, black, white, purple, green, up, down, short, tall. So I believe, while it is true that I'm one person who admired President Trump, but I believe, and this is where we as people, especially as Liberians, should learn, that some of these, you know, I want to call it, you know, a decree or whatever, you know, document has been signed. I know that this system is structured in a way that some of these things, they will never come to fruition. And this is a very clear example that I think those of us who are Liberians specifically should learn from. You see, the system works for the people. The system works in the interest of the people, in the interest of peace, security, and etc. Unlike what we are seeing in Liberia. You know, I just want to kind of get a reverse of this thing, you know, that is happening with all of these decree and whatever has been signed by President Trump. Imagine today we have similar situation in Liberia, where the president of the Republic of Liberia, President Boeka, took office, and instead of working to unite the country, what did he do? He went straight to the Supreme Court to disrespect the Supreme Court. That is by taking people who are legitimately occupying tenure position. When the Supreme Court came in order to be able to say, look, Mr. President, you are proceeding wrongly, you have to do this and you have to do that. Guess what happened? President Joseph Numa Boeka, a man who is becoming a serious dictator in Liberia, decided to ignore the Supreme Court and do his own thing. But it will not happen here in the case of President Trump. I believe that some of these things will be seriously resisted by the Supreme Court. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sheriff. Guys, just one last question, and then we'll move on from this topic. One of President Trump's executive order was on immigration, to repel, to repatriate, to remove. You know, also talk about closing the border, building a wall between Morocco and that of Mexico. What do you guys make of that executive order? Tell us what you think. I'll take three panelists because we have to move on to the next conversation. Mr. Y, and Mr. John Winkin, and Mr. Dennis. I'd like to start with you, Mr. Y. What do you think of President Trump's executive order on immigration? You're on mute. Mr. Y, can you hear me? You're on mute. Hold on, let me.
Okay, so I think I did that. So look, we need to understand beyond just the symptoms of what is going on. This immigration agenda was well planned to make sure that the Republican and the mega agenda is the order of the day henceforth. That means going forward. Look, when you remove a lot of immigration individuals from this country and send them back to different countries, and you build borders and limit others from coming into the country, you prevent the minority population from propagating and taking over as the majority. Because as you're aware, in a few years from now, the minority now becomes the majority through procreation and migration. So that is being countered by MAGA and the Republicans and the evangelicals to make sure that the Republicans and the Anglo-Saxon whites are in majority and maintain that status quo for a longer duration. This is what we're facing now at this point in time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll collect to come to you, Mr. Dennis, but just building on what Mr. Wise said on this immigration law, just to clarify from what I read, I think it's not about stopping immigrants from coming, just to make sure that they come here the right way. Mr. Dennis, with that being said, what do you think about considering the fact that we all know how immigration or processes are taken advantage of in Liberia and some part of Africa and everywhere around the world? What do you think about the United States putting in place laws to protect their borders, especially looking at President Trump executive order on immigration?
Yeah, my take on this is that if you study the immigration law, there are various types of visa that individual requires to enter the United States. And particularly in Mexico, as we speak now, we're looking at those. There are other immigrants who are there now at the border who already filed their petition for asylum. Now, my concern is what happened to them. That is the concern right there. And what is the position of the Mexican government? What happened to the relationship being built? Is the Mexican government able to host those asylees there? Is the president now? My confusion here is this too, though. Is the president saying that those who are already applied for asylum will stay in Mexico, or their application will be processed? Or is he saying that, hey, hell no, we're going to stop right there and we're going to put a hold on all immigrant petition that's been filed, or those who are there and waiting for interview and other stuff? So that is my concern right now. I know he signed the executive order, and I agree with the Councillor Freeman, what he said earlier, that some of the executive order will be challenged. I will agree with that. And some he will get away with. And I'm afraid that that will be one section that he might get away with, the way in which he's proceeding. So that is my take on that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Weir, talk to us about President Trump.
Okay, thank you very much. Before I say, I wanted to say, I know many people say Trump talks his mind, to the point that the attack on the Capitol, he said nothing happened. He said that over and over and over, and people believe it because he said it. The thing about him is that he lies a lot, but people don't see it like that. He challenged the gun election that he lost, and up and now he says it was rigged. Even though he counted and appointed people who did that, nothing came out of it. He doesn't accept fact. Okay, so people need to understand, to prove that in love with him, they should know that he lies a lot. 99% of what he says is a lie. That's how I wanted to point that out. Okay, with respect to, you talk about immigrant. You say you love the immigration process. But before the elections, there was a bipartisan bill crafted by both Republican and Democrat. But he said they should thank it because he wanted to make it as a election issue. But people need to also understand that Trump is an American citizen because his parents or either grandparents ran away from Hitler war and came here for rescue. That's how he was born here. So he's a German, but he himself, the wife. During the first century was the time the father of the wife became citizen of the United States of America. He had a lot of immigrant family in himself. So people to say that he did. The problem with him is anything that is not done by him is not done.
So just to ask you quickly, Mr. Weir, are you against President or Trump executive order on protecting the borders?
Whether I against it or not, Trump before he became president, the first time he said Mexico were going to build a wall, they were going to pay for it. It never happened.
Mr. We have to move on to the next panelist. Mr. Weir, you're not answering my question. Are you against the executive order or not?
Yes, I'm against it.
Thank you very much. Mr. Brown, I promise to come back to you. Mr. We are listening to him when he first started his stating his position on this or inauguration. He first referred to he made a statement where he said he doesn't hate President Trump, but he hates his demeanor. And correct me if I'm wrong. He hates his demeanor and policy. And just now he said what people don't know about President Trump is that he lies a lot. And earlier you said one thing you respect about President Donald Trump is that he keeps his word. And I think one of the other panelists kind of agree with you on that. So I want you to talk about that, respond to Mr. Weir and tell us how you see this President Trump in a different angle from being this person who Mr. Weir described as a liar to a person that keep his words to his constituents.
So thank you, Derek. Will everything Trump said, will it happen? No. We understand that, but in politics, and we can even see it from our La Brosa to even here, everything that Trump said, almost everything that he said is he putting it into place, not wait later on in the time or stuff. He's doing it right now. And I mean, like, he is 3rd or 4th days in power. He's doing it right now. Now, firstly, he came and he brought up about Christianity. Okay, they're about to teach Bible in school now. 2 gender. He talked about that. He sound that as soon as he get into power. The military. He's gonna pay back people that lost their jobs during COVID. He spoke about that. So yes, he might say things that might be contradicting sometimes, but 80% of everything he have said during his election has happened. Now, I will talk about the deportation a little bit, right? Now, a lot of us, when we hear about that, we thinking that, oh, Trump is coming for the working people that just on the street. Like today, what happened? He took out in Boston. He took his ICE people took out 15 gang members from Haiti. 15 gang members from Haiti. Like known people that have records of killing and raping people. It's on the news. Those are the people that he's specifically going for. And in his inauguration speech, he spoke about that. He said, these are the people that I am going for. These are the people that I'm going for. The people that are here. Like, for example, he have another a bill that he signed that when you go to school in America and get a degree, he will give you your document. So yes, it is true. Like some things that I'm not in favor of a lot of things, or some of the things that he says, but he have kept his word. He is one of the politicians that I've seen in a long time, even following liberal politics to now, to American politics. He have kept every single word that he said. Not every single, I'm sorry, but he has kept most of what he said. He sounded on his at least 2nd or 3rd day. Thank you.
Thank you. If no one would like to rebut it to any of the panelists, I'd like to say
yeah.
Go ahead.
I just want to. Yes, sir. Thank you. I just want to have my take on this. Sometimes when I listen to all of these propaganda that is being run by the media against President Trump, I'm a kind of bit, a worry with the way things are going. And I think those of us who maybe to some extent we follow the politics need to keep reminding our people. We must understand that this country, whether we like it or not, is divided between the Republican and the Democrat. And they will do everything to spin each other's statements, especially from the head of the political figure. But one thing I know, and each and every one of us on this platform can bear witness of, before, President Trump could become president, one of the things that he stressed on was that the United States of America will now be used as a criminal harder for people who think that they can run from their country after committing heinous atrocity against their own people or against humanity, and will run and come here, and that the United States will serve as a shelter to them. He made that very clear. So people must understand that President Trump's decision is not to go against people who are here, whether be a legal or illegal, but that are in the system and working towards legalizing themselves. This particular policy is actually geared towards weeding people who are criminals, who feel very comfortable, don't have any status, but when they commit crimes in any nation or other nations, they will come here as a harder. These are things that we must send out to our people, because some of our people who are not as educated as we are and are not following the news are worried. That all the men say, he coming for everybody also. He coming, if I those other who can here, he coming, how you call political asylum, where move from the play, he coming through us. No, my people. The President Trump not coming for everybody outside, he not coming throw everybody away in America. What President Trump saying is that the people then who commit crime, some of them they were rapists, some of them they were serial robbers, some of them carry big problem in their own country. They run away from their country and come in the America, they get document, and some of them even engage in criminal act in the same America. If you not get document, that you the one the people go after, but you get document, but you working towards you get a clean record. The system will help you and the system will support you in order for you to be integrated into this system legally.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Sheriff. Mr. We are see you signaling to give a rebuttal. Let me give you the opportunity.
Well, look, quickly.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Mr. Weir. Let's hear from Mr.
Okay, quickly. The host said that maybe it's not just to limit the amount of minority people that's coming to increase the minority population. It is just to make sure that we have people come in here legally. Look, I disagree. What you're seeing is just a symptom of the actual agenda being implemented. Yes, the violent criminals are being targeted first, but it is the objective of the Republican and MAGA to make sure that they limit the population growth of minority. Look,
if I may ask, Mr. Wow, where are you getting that information?
Because it's evidence of the agenda, it's evident of the implementation. It is not just closing the borders. It is not just preventing people from coming in from different areas. It is not just first arresting the criminals. He did not specifically say, I'm only going to arrest criminals. He said, I'm going to arrest anybody that's illegal and send them back, starting with the most violent criminals. Secondly, when you start looking at taking the citizenship of people that were born here, whose parents are from different countries, that is also a limitation. That is also an intent to limit whoever is citizen and can vote and can make decisions. When you start preventing the fiancé of people that are American citizens from coming in this country, those are also tools that is being used to prevent the minority growth in this country. So
thank you, Mr. Wow. We only got 4 minutes now. Next break. Let me hear from Mr. Weir quickly, and then I'll take whatever panelists have a rebuttal. Go ahead, Mr. Weir.
People missing out something. During Obama administration, Obama deported more criminals than Trump. In fact, all the other presidents, including Joe Biden. Trump, just a noise maker. None of you addressed the fact that Trump said the attack on the Capitol was nothing. That is a lie. Trump now is placing on leave, what they call DER. Most of them, they are black people who are working for federal government. They are on leave. He said that policy is wrong. So people, as I said before, it is done that I personally against Trump as a person, but he pick and choose. He lies a lot. People need to see it. That's what I wanted to clarify.
Thank you very much. Mr. Ayiti, do you have a comment on this, because I saw you signal this
not really. Much has been said.
All right, then let's Mr. Brown, you had your hand up, so let me take you, and then we'll take our first break.
So firstly, when we saying that Trump we see the evidence of Trump plan, right? But I would just say this: the evidence is showing. The evidence is showing that what he's going for. He's going for, and he said it in his speech. He said it clearly in his speech. He specifically said what he wanted to do in his speech, in his inauguration speech, that this country is not for, in common term, it's not player for anybody to just run to and come after you do something to your country, and then they're looking for you. Then you come to this place, you come to America, you run. He said it specifically, and these are the people that he's going to go for. And then again, just quickly, there was a Venezuelan gang that was terrorizing the New York and the Chicago area. These are the people that Trump is specifically speaking of, that the border was open for these people to just come into. So these are the people that specifically he's trying to target. Because if he wasn't trying to target these people, he would not offer to give illegal immigrants, green card or documentation when they graduate high school or college. He wouldn't offer them.
Thank you.
What's
Thank you.
about
Thank you.
those
Thank you.
people
Thank you very much.
what's about the black people who are working for the government?
We are Mr. Brown. Thank you guys. Thank you guys very much, and all of you panelists for your contribution to this specific subject matter. We would like to take our first break. When we come back, we will transition to our own politics, Liberia politics. We know we have the State of the Nation address coming up. We're carrying a team, rescue to development, implementing the arrest agenda. So let's look back 365 days of President Walker administration. We will talk about that when we come back from our break.
Attention all organizations, NGOs, and social clubs in and out of Liberia. Are you tired of relying solely on social media to run your operations? An effective web platform is your most important marketing tool, and that's where Tiamat.com comes in. Hello, my Liberian people. My name is Sophia, and I want you to consider this. 53% of consumers do online research about an organization before talking to someone from that institution. That means not having a website could be costing you opportunities. Step up your game and establish a professional online presence. Introducing our web platform, designed specifically for 501c organizations, small businesses, and political organizations, social clubs, etc. At Tiamat.com, we understand how important it is to make a great digital first impression, which is why we offer you all the help needed to develop, maintain, and host NGOs and small and big organization websites by giving you a full suite of services that includes automatic billing for members, membership and visitor portals, first-class design and functionality, and much more. The best part is, it only costs $20 per month. Upgrade your image today with our customized web design services. Visit www.tiamat.com to get started. This is a Liberian-owned business.
Introducing Suku Express, shipping from the USA to Liberia, offering pickup services from Maryland, Pennsylvania, Delaware, New Jersey, and New York. Suku Express is very reliable, efficient, trustworthy, and seamless. U.S. warehouse and loading dock is at 54101 Tacony Street, Philadelphia, PA 19137. Contact 267-987-6821 or 267-437-6463. Then in Liberia, at Dry Rice Market, Bannersville Road. Contact 0775-245-666 or 0555-594-53.
Hey, this is Grace, the CEO of the founder Suku Express. Parcel your stuff good, valuable stuff goes in the plastic barrier. You gotta shrink wrap, you lock the barrier, you gotta shrink wrap the barrier, protect your stuff. Boxes, use shoes. Any box taller than me, I can't ship it.
With Suku Express, your worries are over. Ship with confidence and ease. Thanks for doing businesses with Suku Express.
Maintaining your vehicle can be a major investment. That's why here at Brothers Auto Care, we pride ourselves on providing professional and reliable auto care at affordable rates. Whether you need an inspection, new brakes, or diagnostic reports, our skillful and experienced mechanics are here for you every step of the way. Call Brothers Auto Care now to schedule your next auto maintenance and repair service. At Brothers Auto Care, we help you drive home with peace of mind.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. If you're just joining us, this is episode 6 of season 7 of the Hard Zone, and we're here every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time with a brand new episode. Guys, now let's talk about Liberia politics. We are looking forward to the State of the Nation address that the Executive Mansion just published a theme a little over 9 hours ago. Rescue the development, implementing the REST agenda. And it's also being reported that this will not be held at the Capitol, or for you all know the reason, the fire incident. So they're still looking or thinking about venue for it. And speaking about the fire incident, we've seen reports that the Liberia National Police has summoned a couple of lawmakers to be questioned on their role in the fire, or their alleged role in the fire incident. And that includes Speaker Fanati Kofa and District 9 Representative Foko as well, with other lawmakers. So, guys, I want to bring this conversation to you. It's been a little over a year since President Waka took over the affairs of our nation. So he will be talking to us about that on the 27th. That is next week, Monday, I'm guessing. So I want you to kind of give us the assessment of President Waka administration so far, and then we will get into other things. But let's start with that. I would like to start with you, Councilor Freeman.
Look, I honestly would give President Waka a D- in every aspect of his administration. Rule of law, the economy, on holding his ministers accountable in terms of corruption, on their asset declaration, on a host of things. I give him a D-. I think the president can do better. I'm hoping that the next year now he has an agenda, according to what I saw being posted earlier today, that will be spoken about in his State of the Nation's address. I'm hoping that the president can make an above face, and perhaps make his government more inclusive. There are other qualified people in the country. It should not simply be because someone supported you or someone's your partisan and then you give them a job, and knowing very well that person is not capable of actually, getting the job done. You can be more inclusive. Look for qualified Liberians within the country to help you actually govern. But so far, the person has a D- in my book. But I hope and I expect that he can do better.
A D-, that is pretty low for an administration. But let's hear from the other panelists. The State of the Nation is addressed. What are you looking forward to, and how do you think the government and President Waka has done over the past year? Mr. Jawinkin, let me hear from you.
Okay. Thank you. I am disappointed with President Boakai, starting with the distribution of money during inauguration. I spoke about that. That money would have done something better. Since then, I haven't seen anything that resembling a reconstruction, putting into play a structure of governance. Instead, it is the same playbook. Instead, it is about making the presidency to be powerful. Instead, it's about making all those serving your government to worship you. Instead, it's about letting the majority of Liberian people, their life is at the mercy of nature. There is nothing to say If I did this, this is what I'm gonna get. Nothing to fight for. There is no fighting chance. Girls are still doing the same thing. The University of Liberia is dilapidated. There is no something that to say that what somebody will internalize since he took power that, oh, at this point this will happen, this will happen. I haven't seen that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jawinkin. We are now. Let's hear from you, Mr. Boda. Talk to us about President Bouaga State of the Nation address coming up.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that are happening in Liberia in the last few years.
You got low.
Since Bouaga took office. I know the expectation was high, and they stay high by many Liberians. And one thing I want to state here is that, with the current state of affairs in our society in Liberia in particular, the structure of government, the system, the way it's being structured, and how government moved around when there's a change of government, it's not continuity in government. And that has created some bottleneck in progress for our society. And I understand how many of us feel that the government is not flipping the switch that they were expecting to just flip. But reality is there that there have been a lot of stigma left on the Liberian government from the past very regime, from the heading to where we are now to back to Bouaga, which that is affecting our government and our leadership. Because when you have so much level of corruption in the society, wherein your local revenue is not being managed properly, and your government is fully dependent upon foreign aid, that is itself is a problem for the government. Because, and if you remember, I said it many times, I said, look, when Bouaga come into office, he's going to have a lot of difficulties, because first, he doesn't have the money to manage a resource to do what Liberian citizens want done immediately. And second,
If I may interrupt, Mr. Boda, can you summarize your point? And
the point I'm making here is, I'm saying to you, there are being a failure in government, but there are a lot of attributing factors.
Do you think it was a fair assessment from Councilor Freeman to give the government a D-?
Well, that's his personal assessment.
Do you think it was a fair assessment? Do you think it was a fair assessment, Mr. Boda?
I'm not going to say, hey, you're wrong or right. I think that his assessment.
I'm not asking you to do that, Mr. Boda. I'm asking you, do you think it was a fair assessment, given the fact you say there has been?
I cannot tell you whether it was fair or wrong assessment. I can't do that. I'm not going to tell Mr. Freeman, no, there's not a fair assessment, it's a fair assessment.
If you
there were a lot of instances in government, there were a lot of failure.
I will come back to you, Mr. I will come back to you, Mr. Boda. Let's hear from Mr. Sheriff.
Yeah, well, thank you again for giving me the opportunity. I think the performance of the Bouaga-led administration, in fact, is below the failing mark. If the failing mark is F, then it's below the failing mark. The reason why we are saying what we are saying is because we've seen how the first year of this government have been marked by rampant corruption, the disrespect for the rule of law, the killing of our people in King George without anyone being brought to book. We are seeing government officials are using their proximity to power in order to be able to steal from the Liberian people. And the open approval of President Joseph Numa Bouaga as it relates to corruption that was said in Lofa. We've also seen the killing of people in police cell by police in the name of they hang themselves. We have seen that. And of recent, we have seen how, in fact, the office of the presidency, including the First Lady office, we have seen these people practically engage into open 419, taking money from innocent Liberians in the name of scholarship. We've also seen this government traveling with the Liberian people money in private jet, and unfortunately, lying to the people that they have deals that have been signed or MOU that have been signed. And all of these deals that they claim have been signed, we have not even seen the dividends of a single one from them. All of the promises, you talk about the HPX, you talk about the China 5 billion, you talk about coming here to the United States and saying they're coming to come and get money. All of these things has all been so blah. So the first year of the Boyka administration has just been marred by just a complete, opposite of what they told the Liberian people. But we are not surprised because these are things that we said from the very onset. I am not surprised, and many people on this line, that is the panelists, will not be surprised because from the very onset, we told the Liberian people that Mr. Boyka has only been a leech on the Liberian people. And he himself even said it, that over the period they have squandered the resources. He said to the Liberian people that, look, my people have been living on loan. I have not been able to manage adequately my own resources. So because of that, I've been living on people loan. Now, what do you expect really tangible from this man? So all we expect comes, the State of the Nation address will be marred by another lie, another failed promises that will never come to fruition. And it's unfortunate that Liberia has now turned into a torture camp where Prince C. Johnson is now the new, torture master that is, approved by Joseph Numa Boyka. You see Gregory Coleman is now today, the new content creator. Instead of working on behalf of the Liberian people in protecting lives and property, you have Gregory Coleman now doing content creating and passing around the place. Unfortunately, the police who should be protecting our people are the police, the very, very police who are even killing our people. Today, we are seeing that police, highway patrol police officers who should be there and ensuring that the highway is secure to be able to, at least to some extent, bring to at least a kind of minimal level of the number of accidents that is happening. These police people will man roadblock and at the end of the day, illegally extorting money from road users. It is very scary. Police are not giving their arms to people who are robbers to go and rob our people. So we are expecting nothing good from this particular regime, but we wait to hear another failed promises, another lie, from the State of the Nation address.
Thank you, Mr. Sheriff. Let's hear from you, Mr. Y.
Good evening, everyone. So, the one thing that I take from this is that Liberians as a whole have not matured over the years. In 1980, we killed so many esteemed Liberians. We say it was because of rampant corruption, unequal or uneven distribution of wealth, all of these different intricacies. Then after that, we just ignore the fact that we killed those people for certain reasons. We never put anything in place to make sure that those things that we killed Liberians for did not occur again. Instead, we allowed administration upon administration to come in, and Liberians were not educated about the diseases of tribalism, the diseases of political party affiliation over country, the disease of friendship and loyalty, blind loyalty. And those things have come to haunt us now. Elections have consequences. When you elect an administration as Liberians, you should have a mandate. You should make sure there's the equal distribution of power in the three branches.
Why? Can you give us your assessment on the government?
That is what I'm doing. The assessment on the government is not just because of this government. It's because of all of these intricacies that have not been put into place. This administration did not have a mandate. They just made promises and they didn't commit to anything. And the Liberian people elected them because they felt that, oh yeah, we want to elect Joseph Boyka because he's from Unity Party. So they supported anything.
I will come back. I will come back to you on that because I'm sure there are people who will disagree with you because there are some positive.
So because of the disease of political party,
so I will come back to you. I'm sure there are some that will disagree with you because there are some positives from this administration. But let's hear from Mr. Brown quickly. Mr. Brown.
Yes, Eric. Thank you. So for me, I don't know what I would give him, but with his 20 plus years of experience, okay, let's say, for example, if there was Alexander Cummings, right, I will understand, right? But for 20 years of experience, 20 years of experience, he spent 54 days. His first 90 days, he spent 54 days out of the first 9 months into power. You know what I mean? Honor his. We could see honor his leadership. We don't see nothing. We see all polished development, things that was already there that went to politics. So I'm saying, like, I don't believe. I'm not optimistic about anything that will happen in the next a year. I will hope something will happen, but with his level and his level and his year, given the year that he's been into politics and into position, I expect better for him. So,
thank you very much, Mr. Brian. Let's hear from Mr. Dennis. Then we will kind of look into the future for Mr. Bwaka and give you guys the opportunity to comment on that.
Thank you, Derek. I think that after listening to my fellow panelists, I believe strongly that the councillor grade for the leadership was unfair. I think that D- is not the rightful grade for President Bwaka. I think President Bwaka at this time should be at getting B at this time. The fact that government is continuation. You come, you inherit, and you deliver. You continue whatever you left into office, and I think that is very unfair. So, councillor is very unfair for the D-. I think you should upgrade that grade to scale that grade to at least a B or B plus for President Bwaka. There much been done, and one of the panelists talk about the job of the police director. Look, I saw something on the social media where actually he tried to expose police officers trying to receive bribery or something in the black bear. That's something that the government is discouraging. That's something that the Bwaka administration is discouraging. And then the next thing is, we Liberians, we are so much dependence of the government. That's something that we have to learn from it. We need to try to involve ourselves into becoming independent, creating more jobs. There are a lot of Liberians who are millionaires. They are in Liberia, but they're not investing their money. Look in the diaspora. Most of those who travel in the diaspora are not working for government. We're working for agency. They're not creating jobs. So we all need to take forward at this. We all need to get involved and see how we can create jobs and move the country forward. So I think at this time, I'm going to grade the government B plus.
Thank you. I'll have to check with Councilor Freeman real quick. I know. Go ahead.
Look, hello. Oh, sorry.
Derek, do I have the?
Yes, you're protected. Yes.
Look, I get it, and I get the appetite to want to give the president a B or a B minus. But look, on really key issues, all right? On really key issues, President Bwaka and his entire government have not performed. Look, Bwaka came into office with a lot of promises. A lot of Liberians continue to live in abject poverty. I don't expect him to work miracles, but I expect him to put in policies, given his vast experience. Someone mentioned about 40 years of experience. I expect him to come on the ground running with policies and tap into some of the expertise we already have in the country, and not simply based on partisanship. On the issue of the rule of law, Bwaka has flunked. Simple things as declaring his assets. You and I were on the show the last time, and you expressed disappointment in the president for not declaring his assets. On that particular issue, he has an F. Now, you say I should be generous and give him a B. I thought I was generous when I gave him a D minus. On several key issues, this president has shown a lack of leadership. Bwaka is a dormant president. In other words, he's there as if he's not there. Okay, I can even declare him as a puppet. He's being led by people all over the place. President Bwaka is indecisive on a lot of key issues. And that is the reason I'm giving him a D minus again.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Guys,
Yes, sir. Derek, yeah, I think the previous speaker made a point out
I'll
of.
give you a minute. I'll give Mr. Brown a minute.
Okay, so thank you. So I think he made a point out of what I said. Now, this is where I think people are very insincere with Mr. Boyka, and some of the things that you guys are doing is going to hurt all of us, not Mr. Boyka, but all of us, because he is the president of the republic. I saw something that was posted, like the previous speaker talked about, the issue of the Liberian National Police. Look, by profession, I'm a classroom teacher. I'm also a security personnel. Before becoming a security personnel, I served as a scout in Liberia, Bosco, the one you can call Bosco. What I know is that there are standard units of the Liberia National Police or in any institution that when people are doing things that are not in conformity with the organization, they are taken to that standard division for investigation and prosecuted. For you to see the police director displaying police officers on his Facebook, on his personal Facebook account of allegedly receiving bribes from people, that alone was very unprofessional of Gregory Como, and that it was in fact disgusting. And it is something that no Liberian should even be able to work on. So are you telling us that we do not have a standard division that is responsible to punish people? That when people are wrong or when people are caught in an alleged act, that they are displayed on Facebook, on your page as a police director? This is
Thank you. I think
a better Liberia. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's hear from you, Mr. Brown.
So I would just quote what you said. We are so much depending on the government. Now, we want Liberians, we have to be realistic. We want private entity to go in Liberia, right? But like for America, for example, America, they have private entity that's here a lot because the government, they have security. But where is the security system in Liberia? Like Mr. Freeman said, President Barker had almost 20 plus years of experience, and hear them still. Some of the basic things, even he making some inflammatory speech, as we see in the other time when he make a statement in regards to the fire incident. 20 plus years. Now we want private entity to go into Liberia to go to what happened today, what the law protects, what security protects you if somebody steals your property. How can you penalize that person by it not getting swept under the rug? So these are the things that we have to figure out before we can start saying people should not depend on the government. People will always depend on the government right now because of that, because there is no security.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Mr. Jawin, can we have your signature to?
Yeah, so I wanted to really respond to Brother Sheriff. You should be honest. There is no difference between the WIA government and Buckeye government. WIA did nothing to change anything. The same structure. If you talk about, okay, so we are here talking about Buckeye. There is no difference. All of them looking for people to worship them. There is no structure for anybody as we are talking about investment. Here in this country that you're making comparison, the government created atmosphere for people to invest, like farmers. Most people farm in this country. They don't care for government. Yeah, but government provides most of this stuff. But our government is the opposite. If you were to tell anybody in Liberia, they will tell you this is LIB. I spoke to some people in government about certain changes. They say this is Liberia, this is not the West. So we expect manna to fall from heaven. We keep begging people for money. We are not even working on anything to say like all the resources we have in the country, there is nothing for children to go to school, to learn. We can also invent. Nobody thinking outside the box unless we are still depending on people coming to help us. We are the oldest country. We're supposed to be an example to show that whether black man was capable of ruling himself or herself. But yet, we are even lacking behind.
Thank you.
From other people that just came about. So, Brother Sheriff, don't say that. Don't just criticize Buckeye. Your man, we did nothing to change anything.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Sheriff.
Yes, sir. So thank you. Yeah,
I need to have the opportunity.
Thank you for the 30 seconds. Thank you for the 30 seconds.
I did not give you 30 seconds, Mr. Sherry.
I think Derek, you're not distributing the time equally though.
Yeah, thank you for the 30 seconds. Thank you.
Derek, you are not being fair.
Yes, sir. I think I listening to. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
You're not. I have to go to Mr. Y, but after Mr. Y, I have to introduce a video. So, Mr. Y, go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. So the first thing that I need to make clear here is that we want to hold the government accountable for everything, and we do not even understand why we're holding the government responsible. First, you have to elect an administration with a mandate, and you have to have a standard. In my first year, I'm going to accomplish X, Y, Z, 1, 2, 3, 4 at this time, at this time, at this time, because elections have consequences. You cannot just elect a person just because they're from your party. So you don't care what it is. You're just going to support that. It is wrong. And now we want the government to do everything. There's no standard. Okay, you said you're going to do education or from this, you need to bring it here. You want to do job creation from here, you need to bring it here. So these are tangible things that we need to have, and we need to understand from a debate what you're going to do for Liberians, not just for your partisans, before you elect an administration. So we have nothing to hold the government accountable for. The government's not accountable to us. They do whatever they feel is right for their partisan. So again, blind loyalty to political party affiliation and tribalism rules the day. We need to educate Liberians with a national program that will teach them about civil education, the constitutional rights, and the basic need, the basic necessity of life, so that they will elect the right administration, irrespective of whether the person comes from your party or another party, or whether they're from your tribe. Elect the person that can better lead our country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys.
Let me just make a point.
I'm already being accused of not distributing the time fairly. Mr. Boda, go ahead. You have a minute.
Look, I think people, like I said earlier in my intro, the Bogale government came into power. They started to first they try to organize, structure government agencies. Make sure that rural government agencies are placed in the right places. Try to restructure government. That takes time. It's not to structure an institution that is broken, all that stuff in it. It takes a lot of time. And secondly, you got people who are being elected as legislators in the House who have mandate for the rural constituent to come to political power, not doing anything. That's the first failure of any government in Liberia. That's the first bottleneck in any government. So I know it's like I said earlier, we're measuring a lot of stuff based on the American system. But if you look at how this people's system is set up, from the local to the federal, there's a whole lot different. There's a lot of change that you go through. And I want to comment a little bit on Sharif talking about Gregory Cuomo exposing police. I mean, this man was en route to a funeral and he saw his police officers on the highway doing something that was not right, and he's exposed them. I think we should applaud him for such an attitude. He didn't go there to cover them up to go for investigation. So he was going to Baga when they were on their way from Morovia to Atlanta. And policemen standing on the side collecting money, got a plastic bag, stuffing money into it, and they got exposed. The question we should be asking is, what have been done to these people?
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Derek. I think two previous.
I
sir.
have to go to play in this video. I will come to you next. I promise.
Okay.
Guys, the E-in or President Bouaga arrest agenda stands for education. Now that we're looking forward to the State of the Nation address, what can we expect President Bouaga to say he will do for education? Well, let's look at the condition of the highest institution of learning in Liberia. and give me a take on it. Tell us what you see, how it make you feel, and then we'll come back and ask you guys what you think President Boakai can do to make this institution better. And by the way, that's his alma mater. That's the only education on his CV or resume. So let's see what he can do in the next 5 years of his term to improve the condition at the university to Liberia. But before we play this video, we must give credit to Sister Network for this. This is the intellectual property of the Spoon Network. So now, guys, watch this video, and I will come back and give and hear your take on it. There's no audio on it. Go ahead.
Come to the audio.
Producer working on the audio.
Stay with us as we go through this morning. Okay, so yes, so we still here at from here we'll be going to the engineering building. For this one. Wow. Since 1862, University of Liberia. Look at the building. You know the person coming today?
I know.
Oh, okay. And the school open Monday. Is it why you put this out to pin at this time?
No, we finished pin already. We're packing the road now to carry to our office.
You're finished pinning already?
Yeah.
Which are the side? Which are the building your pint?
Channel.
What did the play person coming?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The play person coming.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah?
Thank you too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. So, started painting the building, specifically where the president.
Thank you. Yes, guys, that is the condition of the University of Liberia as we speak. And I think you heard the audio of the president doing the video that because the president was going there, so they painted up the part of the campus he's gonna be at. Because apparently he can go to the same place the rest of the students go to. Thank you, guys. Again, that is the current condition of the University of Liberia, and you already know the activities of the president. The president gets to travel out of the country with huge delegates to see your close friend wedding, but yet his alma mater looks like that. Lawmakers receive card $45,000. Yet the highest institution of learning in Liberia looks like that. Now there are other things, so many things going on in that country, but the University of Liberia in or dilapidated form continues to be abandoned by our leaders. Let me bring this to you. How does that make you feel? And what do you think President Boyka can do over the next 5 years of his administration to improve that? I'll let us start with
Thank
you,
you.
Mr. Sheriff. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I want to quickly remind Liberians that are listening to us. Few days ago, I can remember the president, Mr. Boyka, was in Ghana, making promises or giving some huge amount of money to a Ghanaian university to be built there. I can also remember a few days ago, speaking figuratively, he was also in Sierra Leone, giving some almost 500,000 to the Kenema public school, the public school that he attended, etc., etc. What I am seeing here is disgusting, and it wants to take tears from my eyes. When I graduated from high school, the first entrance that I took was the University of Liberia entrance at the time, with the hope that I was going to enter. We did not enter on 2 different occasions. We took the the placement exam entrance, and somebody said, "My man, I think you're doing a phone, you playing. Don't come and do what you're supposed to do. You must be taking entrance." And imagine in 2004, the same way that I saw the University of Liberia in that deplorable state. Some time ago, during the era of President Weah, I saw that there was some renovation that was being carried on there, with the roads there, in fact, painting of building and trying to put new structure there. Of recent, when I look at this particular picture, it brought tears to my eyes. Because what I am seeing, nobody will ever believe that this is the premier university of a nation called Liberia, where the president, who is now the president of the Republic of Liberia, graduated from with a degree. Nobody will believe it. Now, this is just to tell you that this government is completely just, I don't know, they are just, wow, I want to use better word here. I want to be very, very careful today. But the government doesn't even care about the education sector of our country. The government doesn't even care. To see the university like this, and you can see the deception that somebody say, "Oh, we're painting here because the president is coming." So people now are just painting the face of the building to give that particular area a facelift, so that immediately when the president leaves, the place is in a deplorable state. But this is just to tell you how our academic institution has been politicized, and that's the reason why some of these institutions are not producing the requisite people to be able to help our country. Because when you have people who are politically aligned and attached to this university, all they want to do is to maybe please their political masters and not to work in the interest of the institution, like what we are seeing. Mr. Boyka took somebody that is completely alien to our Liberian education sector and carried them there and said that the president of the University of Liberia. What do you expect? We will expect more damaging and deteriorating condition of that particular university.
Thank you, Mr. Sheriff. Let's hear from you, Mr. Bodas. You saw the video. Give us your take.
The video is despicable. It's disheartening. It's just appalling to see how our higher institution of learning, first in our history, has gone down to that level. And what I say about that speaks to the level of the mindset of Liberians in Liberia and how we perceive ourselves. That is not institutional learning. That is the environment itself is not even a place that you can call institutional learning. That is a shame. And secondly, that tells you a greater picture of the academic, the educational system in Liberia. If the higher institution look like that, where you have people who given the opportunity, the privilege to go and acquire higher education. Think about your primary and your secondary educational system. What does it look like? So they speak to a greater thing that the picture we're seeing tell you exactly where Liberia is in terms of life, the mindset. Where are we going? Where is this country? Is this country going to move any further? Where are we as a nation going? Because if you don't value those things that will drive your future, your education, your society as a whole, electric, water. I mean, you don't have value for your own lives. You don't value anything. So this, in a sense, is a problem. And this is an old problem that has existed since 1980. The coup took over La University, began to degenerate along the line until the coup. 1990 came, and it became worse, and it's worse
Thank
than
you.
what it was before. So
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry to say, that is
Thank you,
not an
Mr.
institution of learning.
Thank you, Mr. Boda. Let's hear from you, Councilor Freeman, and then we'll come to you, Mr. Jawan Ginwea.
I mean, I don't know much about the University of Liberia, but the current state of that university is reminiscent of almost every other institution in the country. I'm not surprised. I mean, look at your Ministry of Finance, look at your Ministry of Justice and Commerce, and I can go on and on. University of Liberia is indicative of almost every other institution we have in the country, whether it be a government building or a private building. We have no standardized code that buildings have to adhere to, or develop partners have to adhere to. The government doesn't seem to have interest in building our infrastructure, so a lot of things are in a very debilitated state. So the University of Liberia represents the decay of Liberia as a whole, because, I mean, if I look at that building, I question the quality of education being provided there, because if you cannot even invest in the building as a structure, then it tells me you're not investing in quality instructors, you're not investing in research labs, you're not investing in libraries and things of that nature. So the University of Liberia plays a pivotal role in our country, in our mindset as a people, because the people who produce at the University of Liberia and other tertiary institutions in the country are the ones who are going to come out as leaders, whether in the private sector or in the public sector. And if this is the university, and I saw the law school in one of the pictures there as well, I mean, it is heartbreaking, to say the least. Heartbreaking. I mean, all of my tertiary education was done in America, from California to University of my law school in Michigan. And I mean, it is deplorable what I'm seeing. And it's not just President Bouaka. Let's be honest about this. This back to Madam Salif, perhaps, because that's post-war Liberia. Madam Salif, or President Weah, and now President Bouaka, all of these individuals, all of these leaders, these people we elect to govern, they have all failed the Liberian people. And it's in part, it's because they don't value education. That's part of the reason. If they cannot simply invest in the institution of higher learning, where students should come and feel welcome and feel that what they're getting out of it is, it's quality education as represented by the building they're actually going to, then it speaks volume. It speaks about our lack of interest when it comes to ensuring that next generation of leaders gain quality education. That building, oh my goodness, we can do better.
Thank you very much, Councilor Freeman. Mr. Weah, if you don't mind, let me hear from Mr. Dennis, and then I'll come to you right after.
Derek, I want to say thank you. I mean, I'm not to add more to what the councilor just said, Councilor Freeman said. Like me, I got my education here. At a very young age, I came to America, and I got my little education here in America. So we are not to blame Bouaka for that, for the current status of the University of Liberia. So I agree with him. Now, why do we submit budgets? Why do institutions, like public institutions, submit budget? The budgets are inclusive. There's the maintenance cost is included in the budget, right? So the budget is approved. What happened to the money? You see that? So we're going to be very, very careful of how we, and I wanted to go back to Sharif. Sharif talked about how he took the entrance and all of that. I don't know if he got into the university, how he got there. Because most of the things that is happening now, we are pointing fingers. We ourselves need to blame ourselves and assess ourselves as to how we contributed to where we are today. And that's what it is. Looking at that structure in 1980, when some of us still in middle school or middle school in Liberia, we knew how University of Liberia was. We saw the structures. You see, everyone at that age at the time wanted to attend University of Liberia. But look what you just shared with all of us. It's heartbreaking. Now, who do we blame? Bwaka? No, not Bwaka. We need to blame ourselves, blame previous administrators for not governing well. So
Thank you. Let me stay with you before I come to you, Mr. Weir. Do you think Bwaka should share some of the blame for why the University of Liberia is in that condition, especially looking at the fact that he prioritizing other things, including traveling out of the country to see a close friend, of course, spending taxpayer money instead of prioritizing the University of Liberia? Do you think he should share some of the blame?
Listen, Bwaka should not be blamed. Let me tell you this. Bwaka should not be blamed. We receive and we should give. Liberia is always in the position of receiving. We're the receiving end. Why can't we give out too as well? And that's the reason why the president is giving out. Because we've been receiving. He should not be blamed. The structure we're looking at didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen on his watch. You know, you got Salif. The council rightfully stated. You got Salif, you got Weir, and then it's him. Does that mean that he should not be able to give other institutions? No. We should give out as well as we receive. Thank you.
So again, I have to stay with you because maybe you help me understand this. You're saying it is okay for the president, in line with what Mr. Sheriff was saying, to donate money to other institutions outside of the country where his alma mater, the highest institution of learning in Liberia, is in that dilapidated condition. Are you saying that you're okay with that?
What I'm saying is that Liberia as a whole, right? We are at the receiving end. We always receiving. It's at the time. It's about time now that we all.
I want you to speak specifically to the University of Liberia.
The University of Liberia submitted our budget. The overall budget, the budget of the University of Liberia is included in it. It's not excluded. They submitted our budget. The budget is approved. They have the money. So that we decide how that money is spent.
Thank you very much, Mr. John Winkin. Let's hear from you, Mr. Weir. Can you hear me, Mr. Weir? I think he's frozen. Let me come to you, Mr. Brown. Give us your take.
Yeah, thank you, Derek. Firstly, Mr. Sharif, I would like to have the information that says Bwaka donated money to a university in Ghana. For what I read, he donated $10,000 to the people in Budubaran camp, and like in June, and then another $3,000 in to the people of Liberia, not to the university. I just wanted to be clear. I want you to help me understand that too as well. But Derek, Mr. Sherry, the counselor said everything. Mr. Freeman said everything. Some of the and the questions that you asked, Mr. Dennis, some of the blame should go to him. Okay, I don't blame him for what happened or what went on or what's going on with the institution, because it's been like 2 or 3 presidents before him. But he have been in position to make some decision or make some call as to why his school that he went to and graduated from looks like that. I'm sure he could make some noise or make some calls about that, because he have been in position for 20 plus years. So, I mean, yes, it is true that we cannot put the blame on him. I don't think we will put the blame on him, but I think some of the blame, yes, should go on him. And this is what happened where we, in my opinion, in Liberia, we one of the highest educational jobs, which is the representative and senators jobs, government jobs, are given to some of the people that is not fully educated. No disrespect, but fully educated, because we will seize other schools. And the the counselor said it right. You go to D12 high school, it's even worse than that. So what are the education all these people getting? So again, I don't believe that the president should have the blame for the building right now, but he should take some of the blame because he have been passing in front of that building. The foreign affair right there. He have been passing in front of that building for 20 plus years. I believe he could have did something about that. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chadwick. Let's hear from you quickly, and then we'll hear from Mr. Watt.
Yeah. So as I was saying, like that building, even the prison compound in the United States looks better than that building. And I didn't want for us to blame this Bouaga government alone. Our country as a whole do not have a structure. If we have a structure put in place, then whoever gets the power will go by that structure about appropriation of funding toward the higher learning of institutions. The University of Liberia is not the only building that has problem. Even the foreign affairs that receives money. Go and see how people are applying for passport where they sit. They leave early in the morning, 4:00 a.m. to go with the line to fill in form for a passport. The place is broken. Everybody is urinating outside. And you see our people in government, our lawmakers make more money than the lawmakers of the United States. Google that and find out, not take it from me. This is a fact. If you were to ask any one of them, they will say Liberia is a sovereign country. We ask the international community for help, but we do not want to help ourselves. I believe that if the Bouaga government is serious about taking care of the University of Liberia, if they have a plan in place, if they come up with an assessment, say how much the government has to work into that, and even appealed, not only international community, but you and myself here, if we see that there's a genuine effort, we can afford to contribute $20 towards that project. But regardless if there's a transparency, if the government's serious for whatever it wants to do. So everything comes down to the planning process, timeline, and the priorities.
Thank you, Mr. Jawinkin. Mr. Watt, let's hear from you.
So good evening. You know, sometimes we have to speak the truth. And it is a shame and a disgrace. Now I understand why our leaders before 1980 did not want to give the Aboriginals the opportunity to rule this country after they have worked for 100 and something years to gradually progress, even though they were not perfect. But it is a shame because now we see that during those days, in the 60s, the 70s, the University of Liberia, the JFK Medical Center, ELWA Hospital, Catholic Hospital were the best in Africa. People used to come from all over the world to come to high school in Liberia. But after 1980s, when the Aborigines took over, we begin to see the degradation across the board in government. Nobody asked Ellen, what are you going to do? Or what are you going to do at the University of Liberia? Tell us what you're going to do in the first year. There was nothing done. It was only Congo people born rogue, Native woman born soldier. They were happy. No intellectual requirement. The same thing with Charles Taylor. No standard of which they were electing these people or voting for these people. And it came down to the degradation of all sectors of government, not just the
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Thank you,
No,
Mr.
no. I don't think you gave me not even a minute. And you're trying. Do you not want me to say what is the
I will give you. I will give you.
Everybody else got their time. You should give me.
Go ahead. I will give you another minute. Go ahead.
So I will just be brief. You know, fast forward to where we are now. You do not expect anything from Bouaga. He did not say what he was going to do with the University of Liberia. He's just trying to do whatever he can. But in the meantime, we elect whoever based on tribalism that is going to be in authority of the academia. CDC, you have Thomas Fallon, got universities so much better than the University of Liberia with no other income, Prince Johnson. And then we expect changes when you have the new president of the University of Liberia is being paid $20,000 a month. And nothing else is said about the faculties. Nothing else is said about the school upgrade. How do we expect to go forward? The outreachers have failed us for 40 years to talk about country from where it was to complete disgrace. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to disagree with you on you say nothing else has been said or done, and I would like to let's give prop to the president of Liberia based on report. This is not my opinion. At the inauguration ceremony, first of all, he took some steps in addressing the issue of the University of Liberia. One, he appointed a foreign president, though controversial, but he took some steps. And also at the inauguration ceremony, he called for collective effort in improving the university. And he said the government would take immediate action in renovating the university. And I'm reading this from the executive mansion page. Payment of outstanding faculty arrears with instructions given to the Minister of Finance for swift action. Delivery of 2 new buses for the university Strategy campus in Grand Cape Mount County. One would say this is taking steps in the right or wrong direction. The president is doing something. I'd like to bring this to you, Mr. Dennis. Give us your take. The president is actually making some efforts. What you say? Go ahead. You're on mute.
Thank you, Derek. The president, as I said in the beginning, the president is moving in the right direction. What we are seeing now is something that we inherited. So the president is not at fault. But what we expect the president to do is this. The president that he's just appointed to make sure that that person is able to deliver. Now, because the president is coming from the diaspora and probably has the experience and know how to run a higher institution with the experience that she's bringing on board, she knows how to run. But let us look at the budget being introduced and approved. Let's make sure that that budget is used for the purpose intended. That is the problem with us Liberians. Because look at the video you just shared with us. Why should you be painting the face, right? Where the president will be coming, the front view. So what happened to the back view? So the president is coming in there thinking that the work has been done, but nothing's been done. So the problem with us is us. So we need to do what is right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dennis. I would like to hear from you, Mr. Councilor Freeman, and I will come to you, Mr. Sherry. What do you think about what Mr. Dennis is saying? The problem is not the president, it's us. And also the steps President Bouaga has said that he will take to address the issue at the University of Liberia.
The president was elected to do his job, and the buck stopped with the president. So I understand that it doesn't take one person to run a country. It requires a collective effort of people who have the knowledge and the expertise. Notwithstanding, the president set the stage, right? What I would hope President Bouaga would do, given that our country is in so much dire need, is to put in place some austerity measures, for example.
Yes, I agree.
You don't necessarily, I said on the show several months ago before he got elected that it was going to be a repeat of the WEA administration and the alien administration and on and on. Because they all come in and say government is continuity and no one come with fresh idea. Like Mr. Wise said, there is no manifesto. They don't come with a blueprint, this is what I'm going to do. But I think President Bouaga needs to set some austerity measures. For example, look, recently when Muhammad became president, Muhammad started consolidating his government. You don't necessarily need all these ministries and employing thousands of government employees and paying them money when the infrastructure itself is debilitated, it's broken down. So, but the president set the standard. Now, President Bouaga, I don't expect him to go and start painting the building, but he can set what he expects from the people he put into office. And if he's not doing that, the buck stops with him, then he's also the failure. He's also the problem. So he needs to set the leadership standard so that the people behind him can follow through. And that has not happened so far.
Thank you. Let's hear from you, Mr. Sherry. A quick question. Do you think, in line with what Mr. Dennis said, that the president announcing at the inauguration of the new president that the government will take immediate steps in renovating the university is a step in the right direction. Mr. Sheriff.
Let me just quickly remind our panelists and our many listeners that Mr. Boyka was the first post-war president of the Liberian Senate and vice president of the Republic of Liberia during the regime of Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, where millions of dollars was being used by our international partners to ensure that the education sector is up to standard. So for one to say that they will not blame President Boyka for, the University of Liberia dilapidated condition, I think they are doing injustice to this particular platform. Judging from his own academic record, where he got his degree from, and being the first post-war, vice president, etc., etc. I think he should have done better. But let's forget about even, his first 12 years. Let's look at his recent approach towards the University of Liberia. His recent approach is a clear indication that the University of Liberia, again, will be a place of no value to the heart of Mr. Boyka. Let's look at the first step that Mr. Boyka has taken down. The first thing is, you brought in somebody at the University of Liberia who said their priority is to make sure that the bathroom will be clean. No, I am not saying it. The new president appointed of the University of Liberia said it. Instead of looking at the academic fabric of the institution, instead of giving that place maybe a befitting facelift, I went to the AMU University, one of the most prestigious university, in the Republic of Liberia. Go to that place, you even want to learn. You want to enter university today. To see the University of Liberia honor a Joseph Yuma Boyka and the person that he's bringing, telling us that they will focus on bathroom. So what happened to the academic of the institution? What happened to how it has been broken down and been destroyed? President Weah was the only president who did not enter the University of Liberia that took a practical approach to transform that place. It was under his regime we saw the renovation of the University of Liberia. We saw a system put in place for people to be in their bedroom and register from their rooms and
There is
etc.
a renovation of Liberia University.
I would like to. I will take Mr. Y and Mr. Brian. Then we'll take our final break. So we'll come back. We'll give you guys the opportunity to give us a closing remark on this episode. Mr. Y, let's hear from you.
Okay, thank you again. So first of all, after everything that I have said, let's look at the current administration's contribution. So it is not the responsibility of Joseph Boyka to bring the University of Liberia to the standard, but just like Councillor Stephen Freeman said, put in place objectives. For example, look, you cannot just raise the salary or pay the president $300,000 and don't say anything about the rest of the faculty, how much their pay is going to go up. Secondly, tell us, say, look, we need $10 million to renovate the University of Liberia and provide the infrastructure and architectural development that is required. We have only $3 million. We want the Liberian in the diaspora to raise $7 million. This is what we're going to do. We're going to do this, because we don't have that money. Tell us that and tell us what you're going to do. We are going to raise that money and make sure that it's implemented. But you don't have any plan for us going forward. Nothing, no objectives. How do you expect us to move forward? What are the criteria? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Y. Let's hear from Mr. Brown, and then we'll take our final break.
Mr. Prince Sharif just stated government started the renovation, and we've seen that. You know what I mean? We have to be realistic with these comments. You know what I mean? But again, I stick to my point when I said that I personally don't hold Mr. Boyka fully responsible, but I believe he should take at least, if he have 10% or 20% of the blame, because he went to this school, he passed in front of that school every day. Like Mr. Jenkins said, like the Foreign Affairs building, when you go to the Foreign Affairs building, it is a mess. Can you imagine even the Capitol building that just burned? Security is not 24-hour there. So that'll tell you how much of poor things that goes on there. You know what I mean? Poor structure that goes on. Unless we get these things structured, we always going to find ourselves into problems. Whether the funds that are being allocated for these things, where are they going? If you, Mr. Sharif, if you are saying that Mr. Weah started this process, we are not saying nothing. We're seeing window fall off, window falling off, and his term just passed, like not even a year yet. Not even a year yet. So we got to be realistic with this topic. This is the only way the country going to move forward. If we are realistic in every way, shape, and form, we have to be realistic. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. If you're watching us, this is the Hot Zone, episode 6 of season 7. My name is Derek Yale. I'm playing host tonight, and these are my panelists: Councilor Freeman, Mr. Brown, Mr. Dan Kwaye Dennis, Mr. Martin Boda, James K. Webb, Mr. Jai Winkin Weah. We have E.T. Williams on earlier, and Mr. Sheriff, who I'm guessing will be joining us again. He just disconnected. Guys, we are at the very end. We'll take our final break, and when we come back, we will give our panelists the opportunity to give us their closing remark on all of our discussion here. And guys, while you give us your closing remark, I'm going to encourage you to please answer this question. What are your expectations for the next year, for the next 5 years of President Joseph Boakai, and what do you think? What are you expecting from that State of the Nation address? But for now, let's take our break. We will see you guys after the break.
Welcome to your new home away from home in the heart of Margibi County, Liberia. This privately owned guest house located at Disco Hill provides a spacious home for vacation rentals, including 3 comfortably decorated bedrooms and 4 bathrooms. Here, we aim to meet the need of every one of our guests. Do you plan on hosting a meeting? Invite your team to our expansive lounging area, which is perfect for conferences. Let our attentive staff help you celebrate life's biggest moments with your loved ones in our spacious indoor and outdoor event area with chairs, tables, and all your event needs. Whether you're visiting home from abroad or right here in Liberia, we're ready to take your call. Welcome home. Call us now to book your reservation at your new home away from home. At Fatu's, we know what it's like to feel a little homesick. That's why we work hard to bring you the very best and freshest imported foods and supplies from home. With quality design African cloths, beauty supplies, and tasty African food items, you'll feel right at home. So what are you waiting for? Stop by Fatu's African International Market for all of your household and family needs. See you soon.
Hi, my name is Theophilus Julipan Nelson I. I am the founder and CEO of Lift Africa LLC. Lift Africa started as an employment agency that sought the employment of immigrants coming to the U.S. and finding ways and means to be able to start life in this great your country. Now we have added airport pickups and drop, car rental, hall rental. As you see, we have a new business location. Started with just a little office part, but today we have a whole complex that we can do a lot of stuff with.
Hello everyone, my name is Geneva Krantz. I'm the Executive Administrator of Uplift Africa. We have an excellent employment rate at our company. We work with and for you regardless of your situation. If you've ever been in prison, maybe your background isn't great, do not worry. We have a place for you here. We believe in equal opportunity for everyone, especially you. So sign up today and begin earning.
My name is Emmanuel B. Horton, Operational Director for Live Africa. Live Africa is the place to be.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are at the very end of the Hard Zone. Again, we are here every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and the Hard Zone is brought to you by the Liberia Radio and Television Network. You can find us on Facebook at LRTN Live or the Liberia Radio and Television Network. And this podcast is being streamed to YouTube as well. It's being live streamed to YouTube as well. And guys, this is the final portion of the show. I'll give you guys the opportunity to give us your closing remark, and please make sure you address my question. What do you expect from the State of the Nation address by President Walker coming up next week, the 27th of January? And guys, also, what is your expectation for the next 5 years of President Walker leading our nation? And before I give you guys the opportunity, I would just like to provide clarification because I've been getting a lot of text message from the producer on what's in here is Lipton tea. I am not too well, so this is the only way that I can do the show today. So my producer don't trust me. I'm trying to take him to HR. Anyways, guys, if you're been following us, this is the Liberia Radio and Television Network. Make sure you're following us on Facebook and on Instagram, on YouTube, and make sure you are following our webpage, lrtn.net. With that being said, again, let me give you guys the opportunity to close on this episode. I'd like to start with you, Mr. Paye Dennis. Okay, Paye Dennis, correct me please on your name. I keep struggling to say that. You're on mute.
Thank you, Derek, and I want to say thank you to my fellow panelists. And it was a wonderful discussion. I know very well, and I'm hoping that in the president message, he will talk more about healthcare. He will talk more about education, and then he will talk more about what is unfolding at the house, upper and lower house in Liberia, and then he will talk more about what what has been his intervention in whatever had happened in the country over the last 1 year. But one thing I want to say clear is that we Liberians must be able to do our best to uplift the work of the government and not depending fully on the government. So I think we'll hear more from the president, from the good thing that he has done and what more to come on. And one thing we're going to look at too is that Liberian politics, because it didn't work for the president of your choice doesn't mean it doesn't work or it's not going to work. Okay? So we need to bring on the ideas and share the ideas and make sure that our country can move forward. So again, I want to say thank you for this evening. It's been a wonderful evening. The discussion has been great, and I'm still here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dennis, as always, for your contribution on the show. We love what you do here, the angle you bring to our discussion. So we expect you on many more episodes. Let me now hear from you, Mr. Jawinkin Weir. Give us your closing.
Okay, fellow Liberians, I don't think Liberians are not willing to work or to do something for their country. What is really lacking is structure, direction. There is a mistrust between those in power and the population of the country, because those in power are supposed to be example of what is expected, but it is the opposite. If you were to go to any office right now to do anything, the first thing they will tell you, there is no ink to do this. Even if you were to donate a typewriter, they expect you to provide papers and ink. No responsibility. So no matter what happens, the leadership is very important. If you appoint someone to be a minister, there should be expectation. What do you expect? So if there's a timeline, there should be something for people to internalize that between this time and this time, this will happen. Then people will look up to that. What should the youth of Liberia do to improve themselves? Where is the opportunity? Nobody is expecting government to provide money to everybody, but there should be a structure that people to follow. Even those of us in the diaspora, nobody has much money. I don't know what about other money. But if there's a project that the government identify that is transparent, I think Liberians will contribute. We all love our country. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jai Winkin Weir. I think the longest stay panelist on this panel. Thank you always for your contribution to the discussion here. Let's move to you, Mr. Martin Boda. Let's hear from you. Give us a closing remark, and if you can, please address our questions.
Well, I think for me personally, Liberia will need to be
You got to move closer to the microphone, Mr. Boda.
we have to be a patriot to our own nations. And I know every day we'll talk about leadership. Liberians are very self-centered. And we don't care about others. All we do care about is what I can get today in my family. That's about it. And this is holding all of our institutions down to the grave. And we have had many Liberian professionals from here, from good institutions, leave here, go to Liberia. They have worked at the University of Liberia, served there in capacities, and didn't do anything there. And so it's a shame. And my appeal to Honorable Walker, the arrest mission, I think that from the arrest agenda should be really interpreted and focused on and hold Liberians accountable. And we Liberians have to be a patriot to ourselves, to love our country. It's not going to be anybody that want to come and change anything. If they trust you with an institution, do your best and serve your country and serve your people. Let us just start blaming our president, because from the time we've been knowing ourselves, we are always blaming every president that comes into office, and not ourselves, not the responsibility given us, taking responsibility of our own actions. Again, the ball starts with the head, but you cannot be everywhere at the same time. So that I ask that we be patriots to our nation and serve our people when you are given the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Boda. Just like Mr. Weir, you've been here for the longest too. So thank you for all that you contribute. The most, or 50% Unity Party supporter, 50% other opposition party supporter except CDC. But again, thank you for everything that you contribute to the Hard Zone. I'd like to now come to you, Mr. Prince Sharif. Give us your closing remark.
I want to begin with this. Where is the 10,000 job opportunity that this government promised to young people in the education sector? According to this government, that will take over, we're going to train 10,000 young people in the digital sector, basically to affect the educational sector. Where is it? Okay, let me forget about that. What happened to the scholarship that was promised by Mr. Joseph Nyuma Boyka, the Necotech scholarship, where our people, poverty-stricken Liberians, were being deprived, were being robbed in a broad daylight by the office of the executive mansion, specifically by the office of Mr. Joseph Nyuma Boyka. What happened to the Necotech? Okay, maybe I make mistake. What happened to the England scholarship that was being talked about by the First Lady of the Republic of Liberia? What happened to that one? That one again, that VLA. Look, let's say this. This government want to use the educational sector to rob the people of Liberia because they know Liberians are eager to learn. The first serious act of corruption that was committed by the office of the president was the Necotech scholarship. The First Lady to jump and go bring your own scholarship for a coronary scholarship or whatever it is. This is a disgrace. You cannot use the deprived education sector of our nation to steal from our people, for the lack of better word, to steal from our people. Up to now, nobody is being held responsible for all of those schemes, the Necotech scheme, the coronary scholarship in the office of the First Lady. Nobody is brought to book. The 10,000 digital train, they said they were going to train Liberia. Nobody, we hearing nothing about it. Okay, let's forget about all that. What is Mr. Joseph Nyuma Boyka plan out of the next 5 years, or the next 2 years, the next 6 months, or the next 1 year for the University of Liberia? I listened to somebody saying the president alone, he can't do everything. This institution to try or to be able to, to do best. It is the government, whether it be the private sector, whether it be the public, whatever sector. It is the government that set that tone for the progress. But again, if you see an institution like the government that has turned herself into robbing her own citizens and stealing money from them in the name of scholarship, it is worrisome. It is terrible. It is unfortunate that Liberia, under the stewardship of Mr. Boyka, have turned into a torturing camp. Look at the likes of Tom, who was tortured by the NSA. As I speak to you today, the NSA officer who is a whistleblower that should be protected by the law. This particular whistleblower today is being paraded in court. It's not even in court, but it's being paraded by the system and being bullied with no one to talk for him. Where are all of the NGOs? Where are all of the how you call the advocacy group? Why are they not talking? What happened to the people in King George that was killed? Why is no one on charge? We listened to the Justice Minister who was reading about the fire incident. He get people behind him clapping hands, as if to say he's a political leader. Today they are using fire incident to witch hunt other lawmakers, but we can say to them, like in the voice of our Chairman Janga Kuhu, any attempt by the Boyka regime, this kleptocratic regime, to go after our people, we will resist it legally, and we will expose our chest to the bullet, and we know one person will be a victim. If that system will be a victim, the system will be a victim, but we will survive it. Thank you very kindly, and we'll continue to expose the nepotism of this government. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Sheriff, for your contribution here as always. Now, let's hear from you, Mr. Dennis. Is he, Mr. Weir, have I taken you already?
Yeah.
All right, Mr. We can connect with Mr. Dennis. Let me hear from you, Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Derek. My closing statement, I will go back to President Trump and just talk a few seconds on why some things that happen. Again, to people that are listening, when basically deportation do not mean the people that only means the people that's out there. Trump is looking to get rid of the people that came into this country, that caused crime into their country and fled here, and causing more crime here in America. He's looking to get them out of here. That's one of his his plan. And another thing, he just signed an order to pay back the U.S. military guys, and he signed an order to give veteran more money. So I would just stick with that, saying that he have uphold to his words in his first 4 or 5 days in position. Now, Liberia, to your question, Derek. Now, with the amount of experience that Mr. Boyka should have, 20 plus years of governance. Yes, I don't understand. I don't think. I'm hoping, because we all want a better Liberia. I'm hoping that his next few years that he's there for, I'm hoping that it will be better than the year that just passed, because he has spent more time traveling, and each time he's traveled, it's cost a lot of money that we could have even put into things out there, into the country. And then lastly, I will speak again to Mr. Dennis about the statement that he made and continue to say in regards to we Liberian needs to help ourselves. I understand that. That's true. We Liberian need to help ourselves. But the problem is, I cannot take my business into Liberia if there's no security. If somebody steal my property and stuff like that in America, you steal from Amazon. Amazon is a private entity. If you steal from Amazon, you will be penalized in general. In Liberia, there's most likely nothing going to come out of it. Even if they put that person out of jail, that person come out of jail tomorrow, there is no consequence. There is no repercussion really into that. So unless the government really focus on a security system that will protect small business, it will be very difficult for us to not depend on the government. And lastly, onto this University of Liberia situation, I do not want to put solely put this on Mr. Boyka head. But then again, he have been in position for 20 plus years, and he have been in almost every single government that passed. since Ellington. Every single government, he have been part of them. And yet, and still, we still seeing the same repetitive things. We have still, the people of Liberia are still crying about the same repetitive things. I leave to the point again, if there is no security system in Liberia, we are going to still depend on, the government. Like, we're just going to listen to the Lebanese guys that will just carry that business there, and because they are able to deal with, pay some of the police officer to watch over their buildings and stuff. The common Liberian man that hustling cannot do that. So I'll leave with that and say that unless the president or the government in general strengthen its security system, the citizen will continue to depend on them. Thank you for having me, Derek. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brown. Let's hear from you now, Councilor Freeman, and then Mr. Dennis. Have I taken you already?
Yeah.
Derek, I'll be succinct. I'll be really straight to the point. I'll be really succinct. I like to pivot and talk about, I understand, I mean, there has been some sort of ongoing investigation as it relates to what occurred at the Capitol building. Every Liberian should condemn what happened. I understand we don't know all of the facts, but whatever happened, if it was criminality, then everyone should condemn that. So in light of that, I think today a report came out that the speaker and 6 other representatives had been called in for questioning. I encourage the Liberian government, particularly the Liberian police, to do their due diligence. The easier way to lose a case as a prosecutor is to just focus solely on an individual or individuals and not do your due diligence in terms of the investigation. But in terms of those that have been called, I encourage them to cooperate, because what we saw happen at that Capitol building and what led to that, it's not acceptable, particularly the destruction of the building, the burning of that building. If we cannot, as a country, start holding people accountable, and for far too long now, Liberia has been notorious when it comes to not holding people accountable. You see people engage in corruption and nothing becomes of it. People commit heinous crimes in the country, become senators, they become representatives, they become other government officials. We have become a country of lawlessness, if you will. My hope is it's time that as a country we say enough is enough. And if the evidence shows that certain individuals were involved in the destruction of the burning of that building, whether you're a representative, whether you're a minister, you should be held accountable. It is about time we take the issue of the rule of law seriously in Liberia, because we have essentially become a country of just severe lawlessness. I mean, look, the last time I was watching something on Facebook when a young man got mobbed to death. People don't even believe in going to the police any longer. People believe that when they go to the police that, nothing happens. When people get arrested for committing crimes, nothing happens. And part of the reason that happened in the country is because when those who are in leadership commit crimes, they go scot-free. They are not held accountable. So I hope that with this ongoing investigation as it pertains to the burning of the Capitol, those that have been called, if the evidence suggests that they were involved in one way or the other, then the law should take its course. But in doing so, we must also recognize that there is a presumption of innocence, and the Liberian government needs to respect that presumption and not create a cloud of doubt over the investigation, because that's going to undermine the investigation. But it's critically important that we use this case as a benchmark to say to the Liberian people that we are a country of laws and not men. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Freeman, for your contribution here today. on every other episode you've been on. Let's take lastly Mr. James K. White. I don't know why, but my producer keep asking me if I've taken you already, Mr. Weir. You've went already for your closing remark, right? Mr. Weir, Chawinkin
We
Weir.
went first.
Right. Plus I keep getting tests. Let Mr. Chawinkin Weir go. Anyways, Mr. White, draw the curtain into this. Give us your closing remark.
Again, it was a pleasure to be back here. Look, I hear what we're saying, the panelists, all of the suggestions are brilliant. But again, we are just going in circle because we do not know what to hold the government accountable for. There's no objective. So look, if we are serious as Liberians, let me just recommend one step that we need to take to resolve all of these issues. And that step is we should have a collaboration of voters, patriotic citizens of Liberia across party line. And I will even go as far as providing a name. Somebody in Liberia should take the initiative. And that name would be called the Patriotic Voices of Liberia. This would be a collaboration across party lines of regular voters. And those people will come together, those Liberians will come together after interviewing and doing Palava Hut and other sections throughout the country. And they will come together and develop a specific plan of objectives that Liberian, irrespective of political party affiliation, the Patriotic Voices of Liberia will be a cross-section of members of the voting class from different parties that will come together and set a standard as to what we want for all Liberians. And we will look at each candidate from each political party that's running for office. And this is for the three branches of government. And we will make sure that those people are interviewed or they will have a debate and they will explain to us exactly how they're going to achieve those things that we want as the Patriotic Voices of Liberia. And when they're going to implement this and the process in detail, and we should select the best person or recommend the best person to lead our country. By so doing, we have a standard, a cross-section standard from various factions of the political environment. That will solve our problems because we have a clear mandate from the Liberian people, from the Patriotic Voices of Liberia, to really understand the standard, where we want, where we are, and what the achievements are. Now, in terms of the current administration, Burger have said a lot of things. So coming here and saying things at the State of the Union is insignificant because he said he was going to fix the road. Nothing happened. The yellow machine, nothing happened. So making the statement doesn't solve the problem, okay? Because we have no standard to hold him accountable for. Everybody just doing what they want. You just jump and do this. The other person just do this. And then there's no coordination. So again, I expect nothing from this administration because there's no standard. So in my opinion, if we want to move forward as Liberians, somebody in Liberia should take the initiative and call a meeting of all of the voters in Liberia, or at least the constituencies of the different political parties in Liberia, and establish the Patriotic Voices of Liberia. Come up with an agenda and then move forward and set those standards for the next president and all of the officials in Liberia so we have something to look forward to. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. James K. Watt Sr. And to all of you esteemed panelists, Mr. Councilor Stephen Freeman, Mr. Y, Mr. Sheriff, Mr. Brown, Mr. Boda, Mr. Dennis, Mr. Weir, and Mr. Awiti Williams. Thank you guys for your contribution on this episode. And to those of you who are watching us on Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram, wherever it may be, without you, this show would not be a success. So I'll say thank you so much for your continuous support, and we ask that you join us next week, same network, same time, for another episode of the Hard Zone. With that being said, I would like to draw the curtain to this episode, and I would like to wish all of you, panelists, those of you in the audience, a pleasant good evening.
I want picture of I post for the photo, but I can see myself in the photo. Post. What happened to the photo? Now I can see myself in the photo. Post. The people that were laughing at the photo, now the people that I see shining in the photo. Post. I post for the photo, but I can see myself in the photo. What happened to the photo? Now I can see myself in the photo. The people that were laughing at the photo, now the people that I see shining in the photo. Papi, what happened to the photo? What happened? Are you ready to tell you all the photo? Now I can see myself in the photo. I was standing right down there in the photo, but now I can't even see my shadow in the photo. Where the black in the photo? So I got the money I see in the photo. They say your camera over dog. They say your picture was not clear. If your picture will be all clear. Now the reason why they went and took the picture didn't play. But now I see the pussy in the photo. Talking said I didn't want you joy in the photo. Where were y'all?